We're going to move on to the second item on our agenda, which is SCA4. Senator Sayarto. Senator Sayarto, the floor is yours.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Honorable Chair and committee members, for hearing this bill. It's very, very important to me because it is the reason I am absolutely giving up a lot of my retirement days so that I could be up here to help people. What does SCA4 do? It restores the very provision, the popular provisions of Prop 58 and 198 relating to intergenerational transfers of property and how they are taxed. It affects both primary and residential properties and other residential and business properties. But more than that, what it does, it allows the public, it puts this issue back in front of the public and allows them to be focused on this issue alone and vote on this again. So in order to understand why that's important, we need a little bit of a historical perspective. Prop 19 passed in 2020, and there were two parts to Prop 19. But the ballot title was The Home Protection for Seniors, Severely Disabled, Families and Victims of Wildfire or Natural Disasters Act. And who wouldn't vote for something like that? However, one part was very helpful in doing that. But then in generating support for that, another part of it got introduced. And that is not helpful at all. And in fact, it's destructive for a lot of communities, a lot of people. And some of those people you wouldn't even expect it to be. It was the proverbial Trojan horse. What SCA4 does is deal with what's inside the horse. The shiny exterior that everybody sees when it rolls in, they think that's great. But if they don't see what's inside, they only find out later what it is. And what it was destructive to them. So why is it needed? For one, it's the right thing to do. We don't use the legislature, we don't use our political process to fool people. We shouldn't be. But you know what? It happens. And when it happens, when we make policy that's bad, it's up to us to try and fix it before it gets worse. We know that. We deal with these things on a daily basis, and a lot of our bills are meant to stop the destruction that was caused many years ago. And now we're recognizing that destruction. Well, this is our opportunity to take something that we have recognized as destructive to people and fixing it now. The benefits sought by the proponents of taking this very important protection away from taxpayers never materialized on the scale that they dreamed it would be. But the cost to our citizens is being felt in a big way. People have so little trust in our government. And what happened here, this little travesty, is the reason why. It is not a tool that will help our housing supply issues. It is not a tool that is creating substantial increases to property tax revenue. The bottom line is, my house, the house that my wife and I bought and our children grew up in, that is our family's house. When my kids come home, they don't call up and say, hey, Mom and Dad, we're coming to your house. They say, hey, Mom and Dad, we're coming to our house. We're coming home. And just because they have to grieve over the one of us dying or when the second one dies, doesn't mean they should have to give up their house. And that's what this is doing to people. So thank you today to this committee for thoughtfully and carefully considering this bill. I look forward to addressing any of the concerns you have, and am willing to continue to work on some of those concerns. I have brought a couple of witnesses with me today. Jeffrey Prang, who is the Los Angeles County Tax Assessor, and Veronica Nelson from the Sacramento Realtist Association. She is the Vice President of their organization. So, Mr. Prang, I'm sorry,
Yes, please come forward.
Mr. Chair, can you-
If you've concluded, we'll allow your first lead witness. Welcome.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Senators. My name is Jeff Prang. I'm the Los Angeles County Assessor. I'm representing the largest assessment agency in the United States. I'm also here representing the California Assessors Association. So SCA4, which is before you, seeks to rectify the most harmful elements of Proposition 19 that have impacted countless families across the state of California and their ability to pass down their property and the intergenerational wealth that so many families rely on for financial and economic stability. SCA4 would allow voters to reinstate Propositions 58 and 193, restoring those longtime benefits that were eviscerated by Proposition 19, the constitutional exclusion from reassessment from when property is transferred between parents and children or grandparents and grandchildren. Prop 19 was the most significant change to California's property tax system since Proposition 13 in 1978. It contained numerous glaring deficiencies, contradictions, and ambiguities on issues fundamental to its implementation. And I will tell you candidly, Proposition 19 was an administrative dumpster fire, and it still remains that way. Many of these questions remain unanswered as legislative solutions have been slow in coming.
I just want to remind the audience that this is a Senate hearing, and so we're not going to be clapping. It's not an entertainment venue or an athletic event. So you may continue, Mr. Prang.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Many of these questions about Prop 19 remain unanswered as legislative solutions have been slow in coming. As a result, many homeowners continue to make very important and often irreversible financial decisions in a climate of legislative and legal uncertainty. The longer we wait for clarification, the greater the harm. As an example, homeowners unaware that to receive the limited tax breaks afforded under Prop 19 by filing the homeowner's exemption, they must remain in the house forever. If they move, they will get hit with a full reassessment at full market value and accompanying tax increase. It will be a public service nightmare as more and more of these incidents occur, not just for my office, but for all assessors, and frankly for your office as well, as people seek answers to impacts that are devastating to families. In fact, many families are still unaware of the constitutional change regarding inheritance that has occurred, at least not until a loved one has passed. Indeed, I am convinced that most voters, overwhelmingly, were unaware of the Prop 19 changes to family inheritance, because when they do become aware of it, they're very angry, and I am convinced that Proposition 19 never would have passed if people were aware of the inheritance provision. When asked directly and clearly, Californians have said they do not want the tax code to force families to sell properties that they've worked hard to acquire. That's why Proposition 58 passed with 75% of the vote, and after being placed on the ballot by a unanimous vote of the legislature. Proposition 193 extended the same protections to grandparents and grandchildren. Prop 19 passed narrowly following a campaign that emphasized its benefits for seniors, wildfire victims, and the disabled, while completely avoiding the important family inheritance issue, which I believe was misleading and disingenuous. The public should be given the opportunity to weigh in on this provision and the opportunity to restore Prop 58 and 193 and the benefits that they offer to families. Otherwise, a significant number of family businesses and homes will have to be sold due to unaffordable tax bills. As you are aware, property tax administration is extremely complex, confusing, and technical. To expect voters to fully understand the implications of a ballot measure such as Prop 19 during a campaign that barely, if at all, disclosed the impact on family inheritance is not reasonable. Californians should be granted a do-over so that they may make an informed decision on family inheritance. Importantly, I wanted to put a finer point on the negative impact of Proposition 19 on family inheritance and its particular concern to underrepresented communities that are very concerned about generational wealth, which is greatly compromised by the drastic reduction in inheritance benefits. Inheritance of family property has been an important historical factor in helping raise families from poverty. As an elected official with a primary responsibility for implementing Prop 19 and having personally heard from thousands of property owners, I'm happy to share with you the administrative challenges and the overwhelming feedback I have received. I urge you to support SCA4, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Appreciate your testimony here today. The next witness, please. Ms. Nelson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Veronica Nelson, First Vice President of Sacramento Realtors and representing CARAB, California Association of Black Real Estate Brokers, along with our nearly 700 members across California. Our motto, democracy in housing. We were established in 1947 when Black, Brown, and people of color could not become realtors or own property. We support SCA4 because the intent is to repeal the devastating impact of Prop 19, which is very important in our fight for democracy in housing, and our initiative in building generational wealth in the Black communities. As a real estate agent in the Sacramento region and Northern California, I work diligently with my clients to help them achieve the dream of home ownership. All my clients want to leave a legacy for their children, and they work hard to be able to purchase that forever home that they will leave for their children and their children's children. SCA4 protects the next generation of California families and communities from being taxed out of their property when a parent dies. SCA4 protects family businesses that have been built with family sweat and tears over generations, which are threatened with unaffordable property taxes when parents pass away and kids take over. SCA4 preserves affordable housing when a parent landlord dies. Currently, buildings are reassessed on transfer. Properties under rent control are sold due to higher taxes. SCA4 restores constitutional rights approved by the legislature and then passed by voters with the passage of Prop 58 in 1986, enabling the transfer of certain limited property between parents and children while keeping the tax bill the same. On a personal note, my great-great-grandfather, who was a janitor and had a third-grade education, was given a certain number of acres of land in or about the 1940s in lieu of his compensation. This is in another state. However, my great-great-grandfather put in writing that the land is never to leave the bloodline. It will go from one generation to the next. My family has maintained, worked, lived, partied, had weddings, funerals on this land for 6 generations. This would not have been possible if we had been taxed at higher rates or beyond our financial means. On behalf of the Sacramento Realtors, California Association of Real Estate Brokers, our president, Francis Young, and our nearly 700 members, we'd like to thank the author, his co-authors, for bringing this constitutional amendment. This legislation is needed so we can restore protection for taxpayers and keep the family home. I urge you to join us and vote yes on SCA4 to repeal the devastating impact of Prop 19, which is very important in our fight for democracy and housing and our initiative in building generational wealth in Black and Brown communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Now is the time for individuals that would like to add on as a Me Too to come forward to the mic to form a line if you'd like to be able to testify. And again, what we need you to do is to say your name, whether you're affiliated with any group, and then whether you're in support or in opposition. And we're going to get everybody that's here an opportunity to do that, but it has to be, we have to move it expeditiously. Sir, you're first.
Dennis Albiani, on behalf of the Family Business Association of California, we support this measure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Alice Quay, I'm in strong support of SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Johanna Altorfer in support of SCA4. We're driving housing prices up and families out of our state.
Very good.
You.
Thank you very much.
Jane Van Tamlin in support of SCA4.
Thank you very much.
It's not right to tax people out of
Thank you very much.
homes.
Thank you very much.
David Perry, I reside in my family home in San Francisco. I support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
My name is Raymond Kwong. I'm the founder of the Chinese Family Alliance, and I believe my views represent thousands of Chinese family voters in the state of California, and we strongly support SCA4,
Thank you very
repeal the
much.
death tax.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Kenneth Young. I'm a member of the Small Property Owners of San Francisco, and we support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Yu Cheng Boy.
Thank you very much.
My name's Lily Lim. I support SCA4.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My name is Jane, and I come from San Francisco. I support the SCA4.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Choi Bong. I come from San Francisco. Support the SCA4.
Thank you very much.
My name is Kasper Leung. I'm from San Francisco. I strongly support SCA4.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Sang from San Francisco. I strongly support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Wing Lee from Sacramento. I'm strongly support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Simon Lee, Sacramento. I support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Maina Young. I'm a board member of Business and Housing Network with thousands of mom and pop property owners throughout California, mostly immigrants. We are strongly in support of SCA4.
Thank you very much.
My name is Winnie Fong from San Francisco, and I represent a lot of senior people who cannot drive over here, and they give me the word to let you know that they support SCA4, and it's good not just for the owner, also for the tenants.
Thank you very much.
I'm from San Francisco. My name is Sam Ma.
Thank you.
My name is Betty G. I'm from San Francisco. I'm a homeowner. I support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Suzanne L. Carlos.
You support SCA4.
I support SCA4. Please honor my father's legacy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Bridget DeMambro. I'm from Saratoga, California, and I totally support this bill. Make sure it's
Thank you.
Active. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm EU Riddell from Piedmont, California. Strongly support SCA4. Please support us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, George Chikopoulos from Millbrae, California, San Mateo County. I'm a 45-year real estate broker, and I strongly support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is John Barrelier. I support SCA4.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Jack Quay, Santa Clara County. Please vote yes on SCA4. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Carol Attia. I live in San Leandro. I inherited my parents' house upon their death in Oakland, so I rent the property. I keep the property taxes below what is normal. My tenants stay, and they're most appreciative.
Thank you very much. You support SCA4. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diana Snyder. I'm from Castro Valley, and on behalf of my small family business that's second generation and our family, we ask that you please support SCA4 to continue small businesses.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Kennedy. I'm from Pasadena, Los Angeles County, and Parents for Liberty, Pasadena, and am thrilled to support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Denise Aguilar with Freedom Angels in support.
Thank you.
Hello, Tara Thornton, also Freedom Angels in support.
Thank you very much.
So, Mike Magus from nearby Mountain View, California. In a small music store yesterday, patronizing this, and I learned the owner is praying that her 85-year-old landlord doesn't die. So
Thank you very
stay
much.
In business.
You're in support. Yes, sir.
Madam Chair and committee members, Tobias Wilkin with the California Taxpayers Association in support.
Thank you very much.
Scott Kaufman with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and on behalf of Tom Bardinero, Assessor of San Luis Obispo County, Paul Dictos, Assessor of Fresno County, the Apartment Owners Association of California, the California Taxpayer Protection Committee, the Central Coast Taxpayers Association, Central Valley BizFed, Central Valley Taxpayers Association, the Coalition of Labor, Agriculture, and Business, Santa Barbara County, Coalition of Sensible Taxpayers, Contra Costa Taxpayers Association, Glendora Chamber of Commerce, Libertarian Party of Santa Clara County, Monterey County Farm Bureau, Orange County Taxpayers Association, Placer County Taxpayers Association, Pro Small Biz California, San Luis Obispo County Farm Bureau, Silicon Valley Taxpayers Association, Solana County Taxpayers Association, Ventura County Taxpayers Association, San Luis Obispo County Farm Bureau, Western Manufactured Housing Communities Association in support.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Gina C. Louie. Judge Quentin Kopp gives his apologies that he couldn't be here today, but the San Francisco Taxpayers Association supports SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in room 1200 that would like to testify? And we're going to move on to testimony in opposition. Is there anybody that would like to testify in opposition in room 1200?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Senators. Doug Subers here today on behalf of the California Professional Firefighters in respectful opposition to SCA4. The California Professional Firefighters represents more than 34,000 career professional firefighters and emergency medical services personnel statewide across 180 locals. As you know, Proposition 19 was approved by the voters of California on November 3rd, 2020, and enacted several reforms to California's property tax law. CPF supported Proposition 19 and was part of the stakeholder in the extensive legislative discussion around these policies over the last several years. I want to, focus on two portions of the property tax policy that was adopted in Proposition 19. First, Proposition 19 expanded provisions to protect homeowners and vulnerable groups such as seniors, wildfire victims, and severely disabled by expanding the ability for a homeowner to exercise a base year value transfer from one county to another. This was also before the voters in Proposition 5 in 2018. Additionally, Proposition 19 included provisions to revise the property tax reassessment requirements on inherited properties. These important changes adjust how properties that are transferred between parents or grandparents and their children or grandchildren will be reassessed. For reforming intergenerational transfer policies were subject to significant legislative discussion and were subject to a 2017 LAO report which suggested the legislature may want to revisit the inheritance exclusion. Property tax revenue generated under Proposition 19 goes to local governments and the critical services they provide, including fire and other public safety services. The LAO performed an analysis on Proposition 19 and found that some of the provisions of the proposition decrease property tax and others increase them, which on balance is likely to create a net positive on property tax collection. SCA4 seeks to repeal portions of Proposition 19 that raise revenue and we believe will create a net property tax loss for local jurisdictions. According to a recent BOE report, 2021-2022 property tax revenue increased 4% statewide and contributed billions to schools and billions to counties, cities, and special districts. Property tax revenue is vital to support local services, including firefighting, emergency medical services personnel, and education. For these reasons, CPF is opposed to SCA4 and respectfully urges your no vote.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to testify in opposition?
Chair and members, Vanessa Chavez with the California Association of Realtors in opposition to SCA4. Enacted in 2020 by the voters, Proposition 19 allows wildfire victims, seniors, and severely disabled individuals to transfer the tax basis of their primary residence to a replacement dwelling of any value. Additionally, Proposition 19 implemented LEO's recommendation to revise the property tax inheritance exclusion. In 2017, the LEO reported on the intergenerational exclusion. This report made a recommendation to the legislature that they may want to reconsider revisiting the intergenerational exclusion and the goal of the policy. The legislature responded to the recommendation through the introduction of SCA4 Hill in 2019. This measure, which largely mirrored the provisions enacted in Proposition 19, reflected the direction of the legislature in trying to address two questions. One, how should this exemption be applied? And two, how to balance fairness to new and existing property owners. The LEO analysis lamented that the intergenerational exclusion restricted the homes available to new property owners. As California continues its trend towards a more diverse group of new homeowners, limited housing inventory restricts the opportunities of emerging homeowners of living in certain communities due to the housing options available in their region. Additionally, the LAO detailed that absent a change in the law, the number of inherited properties was likely to grow, finding that many inherited homes would be converted from primary residences to other uses instead of putting them on the market and making them available to families who live within the community those homes are located. Repealing the intergenerational exclusion upends carefully negotiated language and eliminates the opportunity to provide a permanent funding source to wildfire prevention efforts. For these reasons, we respectfully request your no vote on SCA4. Thank you.
Good morning, Brandon Knapp with California Tax Reform Association in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the room that would like to testify in opposition? Perfect timing.
Yes. James Michael Pala with AFSCME California in respectful opposition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in room 1200 that would like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the teleconference line. Moderator, if you could queue up individuals to testify. I want to remind people that we've got 30 minutes. We were able to get through the last item in 30 minutes on the line, but it really requires cooperation. The more time you take, the time you're taking away from somebody else. So anyone on the line, on the teleconference line that would like to testify either in support or in opposition, your name, your affiliation, and whether you're in support or you're opposed.
Thank you. Please press 10 at this time. We can go right away to line 49.
Hello, my name is Carlisle Sid Young. I'm a property owner and a realtor. I'm calling to voice my support to pass the SCA4 amendment, not for myself, a so-called privileged Caucasian 71-year-old with no children, but I'm calling out the short ballot language of property.
Yes or no, please. You're taking your time away from somebody else who really wants to testify today. So thank you for your comment in support. Next, please.
Not line 30. 30.
30. My name is Inga Lorenzen-Doimer in Pacific Grove, California, and I am in very strong support.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Line 39.
My name is Lee James. I'm in Orange County, and very strong support of SCA4, and I want to echo the LA County Assessor and
thank you very much.
Orange County Assessor.
Thank you very much.
Line 50.
Yes, my name is Lynette Lee Eng. I'm a council member for the City of Los Altos and a volunteer at the Grant Park Senior Program, and I want to support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you.
Line 82.
Hi, my name is Frank DiMambro. I'm from San Jose. I have 2 children, and I'm in very strong support of SCA2.
Thank you very much.
Line 96.
Yes, I'm Marianne Welch of Saratoga, and I'm for SCA4 to restore 58 and 193. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Line 53.
My name is Jeanette Phelps, Sacramento County, and I'm in strong support.
Thank you. Well done.
Line 86.
Hi,
80.
my name is Elaine. Hello, my name is Elaine McIntyre Kim, a commercial real estate broker in Los Angeles. I'm in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 14.
Cynthia Natupski, homeowner, Glendale, California, and I'm in support of SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 13.
Yes, good morning. My name is Arvind Sood. I'm a parent and a resident of Thousand Oaks, California. Strong support of SCA4.
Thank you.
171.
Hi, my name is Susie Garcia. I'm from Sonoma County, and I'm in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you very much.
163. Please go ahead.
Yes, this is Susan Lee, San Jose, and I'm in support of SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
192. $221. We'll go to 231.
Oh, can you hear me?
You're in the committee.
My name is Ernest Moore from Los Angeles County, and I'm in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 51.
Hi, this is Elaine Benson. I'm representing my family, longtime residents of San Jose, and we fully support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you.
Line 25.
Lee Mantaberry, parent, homeowner in Placer County, and strong support.
Thank you.
Line 68.
Hello, my name is Carla Pacolo Woodworth of San Mateo. I'm in very strong support of SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 11.
Thomas Garrett, managing partner of a Newport Beach Trust and Estates law firm, speaking on behalf of myself and hundreds of concerned clients in support of SCA4.
Thank you.
92.
My name is Paul Schechter in Santa Clara County, and I indirectly represent the 750,000 voters who recently signed the ballot initiative to repeal Prop 19, which is now SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 48. 48. Line 23.
My name is Marty Lemos, and I'm in support for SCA4 as it will keep inherited families and other properties affordable for retired senior citizens on a fixed income. Keep housing affordable for seniors.
Thank you very much.
186.
Hi, my name is Benito Bernal, founder of Chi Americanos, representing thousands of minorities throughout the state of California, also being for Churches in Action. I am in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 20.
My name is Colleen Britton with California Leaders Network and strong support of SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 152.
I'm Steve Goldstein. I strongly support SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 38.
Yes. Hi, my name is Charles Levan from Los Angeles, representing myself and my family. I'm in strong support of SCA4. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
61.
This is Jack Britton with the taxpayers of Solano County, and we support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 250.
6 minutes.
250. We'll go to line 240.
Hello.
Yep, you're open.
Hello.
You're in committee.
Please.
Yes, this is Don Monroe from Los Angeles County, one of the oldest recyclers, black-owned companies, and I'm strong support of SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 214. Line 173.
Yes, hello. I'm Nicole Nava, and me and my children all live in Butte County homes that are impacted and strongly support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 194.
Hello?
You're in committee.
Oh, my name is Josephine Paragas Villard, and I'm a generational forever home from Eagle Rock, California. And I extremely strongly support SCA4. Vote
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Love you.
It's tempted to say love you too.
179. We'll move on to line 35.
Is that you?
Hello, my name is Charles Quiros, and I'm a homeowner in Belmont, California, and I'm in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 65.
Hello, my name is Sindel Kodik, and I believe the sale of inherited property should be a choice, not forced. I'm a strong supporter of SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 107.
Hello, my name is Evan Chris. I'm from Sausalito, California, and in honor of my late mother, whose home I shared and then inherited, I am in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 114.
My name is Maura Baldocky. I live in San Francisco, and on behalf of my deceased father, who was a Korean War veteran, and my living mother and my siblings who live in their homes, I am in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you.
139. 139.
David Bullock, supporting family wealth, in support of SCA4.
Thank you very much.
And 14. 14.
Yeah, my name is, I am Jim Robinette. I have property in Seal Beach. I support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 141.
Yes, my name is Patrick Rusgarian, and I support SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 150.
Vaughn McGuire, small rental property owner in San Francisco with rent-controlled tenants, in strong favor of SCA4.
Thank you.
192.
Hi, my name is Mona. I'm a member of a area housing network. I'm strong for support SCA4.
Thank you.
194.
Good morning. This is Walter Nierenberg, homeowner, Orange County. I strongly support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you.
206.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sandra Simons, living in beautiful San Jose. I am a parental caregiver living in the family home. I am in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you.
210.
Yes, good morning. My name is Larry Springs. I'm with the California Association of Real Estate Brokers, and I'm in total support of SCA4.
Thank you.
211.
Rachel Remmett, San Francisco. I live at home with my mom, and I'm supporting SCA4 because if I can't pay, I can't
Thank you
pay.
very much.
Thank you.
Next, please.
213.
Deborah Oresto of Yorba Linda, calling in support.
219.
Marie Kemper, and support SCA4.
Thank you.
221.
Yes, my name is Helen Chang. I'm from Sunnyvale. I've been a widow for 17 years since my children were 10 and 13 years old. Worked very hard.
Thank you very much.
My house would like to pass it on to my children. Please vote.
Line 233.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. You are in committee.
Hi. Thank you. My name is Jill Kellogg, calling from Alameda County. I'm negatively impacted by Prop 19 after inheriting.
Are you in support or opposition?
I'm in support. I was her caregiver for 14 years.
Thank you very much.
I've been negatively impacted.
Thank you.
Line 240. 240.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, hi, my name is Leanna Louie. I'm a resident of San Francisco. I'm also a single mother and a U.S. Army veteran. I am in strong support of SCA4.
Very good. Thank you very much.
241.
My name is James Pizzalia. I'm Vice President of the Contra Costa Taxpayers Association, and we support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
216.
Franz Kratz, Los Altos Hills, caregiver, age 60 now. My parents are 90. I have strong support.
Thank you very much.
244.
Linda Harmison, Pleasanton, California, and I strongly support SCA4.
247.
Missy, LA County, member, Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association. I absolutely support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
253. 253.
Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. My name is Rudy. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Rudy Melendez, Los Angeles County taxpayer, California native, resident of Los Angeles in the San Fernando Valley. The California dream has always been to own a home.
Are you in opposition or you support? You're taking up someone else's time. They're not going to have a chance to comment today.
Please let me finish and stop interrupting.
No, I'm sorry. We're ready to move on. I'll assume you're in support.
Line 259. 259, you're open.
You're in committee.
Hello?
You are in committee.
My name is Hubert Lee. My name is Hubert Lee, and I am in strong support of SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 260.
My name is Jennifer Hammonds, representing my family residing in Placer and Orange counties, and we all strongly support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
262.
Yeah, hi, my name is Robert Lowe, and I'm highly supportive of SCA4.
Very good. Thank you.
264.
Hi, my name is Christine Huey.
I'm her husband, John Tam.
We're from the San Francisco Bay Area, and we represent ourselves, our families, our friends, and their families in the statewide community who cannot call in at the time because they're busy working hard to pay for the mortgages. And for all those
thank you very much.
Aware of what
thank you very much. I appreciate your comments today.
Line 265.
Hi, I'm Deborah DeRosier. I'm a realtor in Yuba City, and I am in support.
Very good. Thank you.
Line 278.
Ed Sinclair from San Francisco, in full support.
Thank you.
Line 289.
289. This is Sherry Minix. I'm a realtor and homeowner in San Diego County. I'm adamantly support SCA4.
Thank you.
Line 291.
My name is Jessica Cabrera. I am the co-founder of PERC Advocacy, and we strongly support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 255.
Hello, my name is Annette Namath. I'm in LA County, Glendora City, California, and I am in support of SCA4.
Line 293.
My name is Sherry Marin. My name is Sherry Marin from Orange County, California, and I and all my neighbors support SCA4.
Thank you so much.
Line 295. We'll move on to line 34.
Yes, my name is Carol Wentz from San Diego County and Los Angeles County. I'm here calling on behalf of myself, my family, my friends, and I strongly support SCA4 in order to deal with the
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Line 35. 35. We'll move on to line 298.
Hi, my name is Alice Campos, and I am calling in on behalf of a Mexican-American family in Carpinteria who acquired property under segregation and redlining. I'm expressing my support.
Thank you very much.
Line 302.
This is Helen Chen from Sunnyvale. I strongly support SCA4. Please vote yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Line 67.
Good morning, Jennifer Johnson, Placer County. I strongly support SCA4. Thank you.
Thank you.
Line 35.
Hi, my name is Eileen Quiros. I'm a senior homeowner in San Mateo County, and I strongly support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 70.
Good morning. Tricia Crane, Chair of Santa Monica City Recognized Neighborhood Association Northeast Neighbors, speaking for our board and our members who are renters and homeowners, asking you to please support SCA4.
Thank you very much. I'm going to interrupt real quick right now and ask the committee members that are in other committees doing business to please get here, because we're going to be finishing up pretty soon, and I want to make sure they can vote when we take our vote. So the next line, if you could, Madam Moderator. Is that a madam? Mr.
Line number 8.
Sorry.
Yep. Hi, I'm Shelley Witten. I'm calling from Placer County and strongly support SCA4.
Thank you very much.
Line 303.
It's one of the reasons I don't like to.
303. We'll move on to line 8. Just a moment here. Line 9. Line 9, your line is open. And line 99.
Hello, my name is Richard Callahan in San Diego, California. I'm a property owner in support of SCA4. It had effect of Prop 19 as it raises rent.
Thank you very much for your testimony today.
Currently none further in queue.
Okay, very good. That concludes our public testimony. So I want to thank everybody that either called in or was here today. It's important to have your participation. And so we're going to bring the bill back to the committee, and I'll start with Senator Blakespear.
Sure. Get all my papers here. Well, thank you to the author for bringing this forward, and thank you to everybody who participated today on the phone and in person. I am going to be supporting this bill today, and I would like to just share why. So there are several reasons. I've read this very closely, and I want to thank the committee consultant staff for having additional meetings with me to really understand all of the depths of this. I think that, first of all, it's important to note that what we're doing here is a vote to kick it to the voters. So we're saying the voters should have the right to decide on this. I think it is true that the voters were not aware of this part of Prop 19 when they were voting on it. So this vote is not for us to pass it, it's for us to let the voters decide, which I think is the right thing to do. I also will just note that in my district, Prop 19 did not pass, and it did not pass by a lot. So it was not actually even close. And also I've received more than 50 calls from my district residents about this bill urging my support, and I've received hundreds of calls. It's almost like a nonstop calling from a lot of people outside my district, also calling both my district office and my capital office about it. So I know that there's great resonance about this bill. I think it's also important to note that I think there are certain societal values that we want to encourage, and one of them is to save and to invest and to have the social safety net of the family be primary when possible. So to have intergenerational wealth be built and businesses be started and parents being interested in structuring things so that they can hand it down to their children or help their children come up and access opportunity and prosperity, and ideally their grandchildren. I see that as a really important value. And so when we set up the tax structure so that properties and businesses become unaffordable because of the taxation, we're basically incentivizing in subtle ways liquidating or not investing before a certain generation dies. And I don't see that as being a value that we're trying to promote. I also think that it's really important that we allow families to have flexibility. So if parents die and somebody inherits their parents' home, but they're not living in that city, they can't move into it within 1 year. They're not able to uproot their life that way. Having them rent out the home and have it be something that's flexible for their family, where we had testimony about property that's been in a family for multiple generations, and there are family weddings and family events there. And I think the ability to have flexibility within a family structure about how to make it work for that family is also really important. And I also just want to mention some of the reasons that Prop 19 passed. I think one of the things that was really important for me in understanding this topic really well is that, first of all, so far, it was supposed to generate more revenue that was going to help us fight fires. So far, there actually is no additional state revenue. And it says here at the end of the committee consultant report that the DOF stated that local property tax revenue will increase as a result of Prop 19, but so would income tax deductions for local property taxes paid, resulting in no additional state revenue. So, on the one side it's due and on the other side it's deducted, and so that results in no additional revenue. So that's a major problem, and this is the headline of this paragraph is called dry well, a dry well, meaning there's no more water to get out of the well. So I think that there was some other testimony about some other part of this that resulted in some additional property tax revenue, but to the point of the revenue that's generated as part of what it was sold to the voters, which was to help us fight fires. That part is not currently actualized. Maybe it will change, but at the moment, this is what the data is showing us. So the other thing I just want to mention is that while this property tax exclusion applies to, it says between 60,000 and 80,000 properties statewide, and the idea was to unlock this inventory, to have more homes that are on the market to be sold. And something that's not mentioned, but is really important to me, is that we are unlocking the inventory through the other parts of Prop 19 that would not be repealed. Because what Prop 19 does is it creates these new categories of people who can transfer properties more easily. So it allows transfer properties more easily and have a lower property tax they pay. And it's a hybrid rate, but it's lower property tax than they would pay at fair market value. So the new categories of people are the disabled taxpayers, people over age 55, victims of wildfire or other natural disasters. So those, what Prop 19 did is it said that somebody who owns that property and is in one of these categories can transfer to any county in the state and can transfer for properties that are more expensive. So if those categories of people before might have been disincentivized to move because of their property tax, their lower property tax rate, now they can have this hybrid lower rate that results in them being able to buy a property that's worth $1 million, but not pay property taxes on the $1 million property, pay it at a rate that's lower than that. So it does unlock housing inventory already, and this part is not up for repeal. So I think that there is a value that's happening there, and you just think about, I think about the reality of income inequality in our state and families that have invested in properties and we want to be able to create opportunities and not have only the wealthy own properties. So when a home is already over $700,000 and businesses cost more than that, who is able to afford to buy a house? And it's already under 20% of our state who, according to their income, can afford to buy a house. So there are, I do believe that, and it's not stated in this report, but I do believe that there are large numbers of these properties that are middle and lower class people who are inheriting a property, and that's the only way they're actually able to own a home. And so if they rent it out for a period, or they have a sibling transfer, or they figure out the flexibility in their family, I think that's okay. And it allows, for us to continue to have this middle class that has the access into home ownership, which is the greatest wealth builder that we have in our state. So, this is obviously a very complicated topic. I know it was a brokered deal when Prop 19 went on the ballot, and there are benefits that came out of Prop 19, and those are being preserved. This is saying for a small section, do we want to ask the voters if they want to reevaluate whether that was the decision they wanted to make, and do they want to have this intergenerational property tax exclusion applied again? And I think that it makes sense to allow the voters to answer that question for themselves. So with that, those are the reasons that I'll be supporting it today. Thank you.
Senator Wiener.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and I want to thank everyone who came out today. I know it is a complicated issue, and there's a lot of nuance here. I want to explain why I will not be supporting this measure today. I think looking at the history is very important, as my colleague just acknowledged. This originally was put on the ballot by the California Association of Realtors as Prop 5 in 2018. I opposed that, and that was a straight-up allowing statewide people to transfer their basis around the state to different counties, whether or not the county that the person was moving to wanted that. And I and a lot of people opposed that, and the voters overwhelmingly rejected Prop 5. I think about 60% of the voters voted against it. The realtors then came back and worked in collaboration with the firefighters and others on what became Prop 19, and that was placed on the ballot through this legislature, and I voted for it. And I took some heat for voting for it by people who were saying, why are you expanding Prop 13? It was after Prop 13 that the school funding collapsed, et cetera, et cetera. Why are you supporting that? And the reason was because it also addressed this other issue. Not only did it address the revenue issue by balancing it out largely with the item that's before us today, but it also it dealt with what I think was unfairness. When we know that what Prop 13 was sold to the voters as keep people in their homes. If your parent or your grandparent or someone who is not wealthy owns a home and you have spiking property taxes, that could drive the person out of their home. And so Prop 13 capped property taxes for those individuals. And that's something that a lot of us can get behind. But of course, Prop 13 went way beyond keeping low-income, middle-income homeowners in their homes. The Bank of America building in San Francisco is capped by Prop 13, and the Transamerica Pyramid, and all these mega office buildings around the state. Disney, Walt Disneyland, Prop 13 protected. Incredibly unfair. But then we have situations where someone inherits property and they're not living in it, and it's income-generating property, and that can go on for infinite number of generations, and it will be permanently protected from that original basis, no matter how many generations it goes down, even if no one in the family ever lives there again, and it's pure income property. If someone else goes and purchases an income property, they have to pay market rate. But the person who inherits it and never lives there and uses it as income property gets to keep that original, could be multi-generational capped property tax. That I do not think that is fair. And I know some people will criticize me for that, and I accept that criticism, but I don't think that's fair or equitable. I think it absolutely undermines the funding of public services. Again, it is not a coincidence that that California used to have one of the better funded public education systems in the country, and after Prop 13, it no longer did, and we know how bad it got until we started putting more general fund money in, and it's still bad. And so I think we absolutely, I'm very supportive of making sure that people can stay in their homes and don't get pushed out because the property taxes on the home they're living in should not be able to explode. I totally support that policy. But this is getting well beyond that. And I don't think it's unfair for people who have property that is an investment property to pay the same property taxes as someone who would be purchasing an investment property would be paying. And so as a result, I'm not going to be supporting this today.
Senator Skinner, any comments? Okay. Senator Durazo, any comments? Okay. Senator Dolly. Okay. There is a motion by Senator Dolly to move the bill. If there are no more comments, I'm going to align myself with the comments that were made by Senator Wiener. I am not going to be supporting the bill today. Specifically, I'm very concerned about the opportunity for working families to be able to pass down property that's that means a lot to the family, and that where an investment, a major investment, has been made. But I'm also cognizant of the need to make sure that we don't undo things that have been negotiated very carefully and put on the ballot before the voters. I think it's disingenuous to say they had no idea what they were voting for. I don't subscribe to that. I think people are very careful about what they're doing, and for that reason, and the fact that that this was a negotiation that involved a whole bunch of stakeholders that were very interested in making sure that the system works well. I'm not going to be supporting it. There may be an opportunity to work some more on it. I think your heart is in the right place, but I don't think it's there yet. So for that reason, I'm not going to be supporting it today. But I'll allow you to conclude, and then we can take a vote.
All right. Well, there you go. Thank you so much for the robust discussion. No questions, I guess. But I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I can count. But I want to thank Senator Blakespear, because you brought up a bunch of points that now I don't have to bring up. But I am going to bring up a couple of points. I want to clarify that this does not eliminate Prop 19, and it doesn't eliminate the part of Prop 19 that was helpful to people, to the seniors, the severely disabled, to the wildfire victims, the people who lost their homes. And mind you, this was put out there on the heels of two of the worst fire seasons that we've ever had. We burned down entire communities. And so people were ready to help the people that lost their homes. And because of the trauma that they suffered there, might not want to go and live back or rebuild in those areas again. And so that's why the intercounty transfer of property, and that's just the baseline. If they buy a property that's more expensive, they're going to pay the difference in property taxes between what they transferred over and the new assessed value of the new house that they're moving into. So there's not a big loss associated with that. And this is not attacking that part at all. What this measure is doing is addressing the issue that I talked about before. And when we talk about this was negotiated, who was it negotiated between? Who were the stakeholders? Because it certainly wasn't negotiated between the hundreds and thousands of emails and phone calls and the presence, which I'm humbled by, of all of these folks that came in here to speak out for this. So who was it negotiated for? It was negotiated by the groups who send you the big flyers, the glossy flyers, that say, hey, this is going to help the seniors and those poor wildfire victims and all those other folks. But you know what they left out? They left out this part. And those stakeholders did not include the people who were being affected by this today. So Prop 13, we brought that up. That was brought up here. How unfair? Oh, it doesn't. You know what? Prop 13 increases 2% every year when your property values go up. So if you add that up over 30 years, that's a lot of increase. The property I moved into 30 years ago, my property taxes today are nearly double what they were then. It does not eliminate the increase in taxes. It pains me when associations that I belong to come in to fight against something that I know people like me are against. If I went out and asked all my firefighter friends what they thought about this, they're 100% behind this. If I go ask my real estate friends if they're behind this, you heard some of them. They called in. They are not in favor of what happened with Prop 19. So that's another thing that we really need to keep in mind when we're voting something like this down. What stakeholders are we actually representing? We are representing organizations that got to participate, and we're leaving out our citizens. The ones that we spend a lot of time up here trying to protect, trying to undo the damage that we did to them before. But instead, we go the other way. Colleagues, all I was asking today was for us to be able to further this conversation and eventually get this to the taxpayers, because you know what? They're going to do it the hard way. If we don't do it, they'll do it the hard way. And that is, they'll go do the referendum. And yes, their other referendum failed because they were forced to go do it in the midst of what? COVID, right? There's nobody to go knock on doors. There's nobody answering their doors. There's nobody at the markets. So how do you get the signatures you need for that? Well, they'll probably go and do that the hard way. But we're the ones who put this on the ballot and snuck this part in on behalf of all the negotiations and the stakeholders. We should be the ones that allow them the opportunity to undo this damage, because it's doing a lot of damage, and it's going to continue to do that. And my last point is this. If you think this is attacking wealthy people, it is not. Wealthy people have wealthy attorneys who are able to do the tax avoidance strategies necessary so that this doesn't happen, so that they don't have to be participants in this. And if we continue to try to make laws that hurt them more, they just pick up and leave, because they have the opportunity to do that. Instead, who is this hurting? This is hurting the people that are clamoring to just be part of the middle class. The people whose grandparents and parents scratched out enough money to be able to buy a home or buy another piece of property, and then because it's in California, and the prices in California, the prices in San Francisco are way higher than anywhere else in the land. So guess what? Their property taxes are going to be way higher than everywhere else in the land. This moderates that. Prop 13 moderated it. This SCA4 would reinstate Prop 58, basically those protections, and Prop 198, those protections. All they did was moderate what would be a tremendous source of income or revenue for all these agencies. And our agencies aren't suffering. $108 billion is what Prop 98 is putting into the school system again this year. $108 billion. We spend $23,000 per student. That's more than anybody now. Yeah, we were kind of lagging behind, and we should have made those investments, but we didn't, and we chose not to, because we take money that we make, the tax money we already generate, and we don't prioritize that stuff. we go to the citizens and tell them, hey, if you want to make this better, we're going to have to do more. You're going to have more taxes. So, with that, I'm going to close. Respectfully, I ask for your aye vote on this. I'd like this to continue. I'd like this conversation to continue to the next committee so that we can continue to try and help people, which is why we're here. So thank you so much. I appreciate your patience. I know it was a long hearing, and I especially appreciate all the people who called in and drove long distances from San Francisco, of all places, to come out here and voice your opinion to support this measure. Members, I ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is a motion, and so we'll take the roll. Please call the roll.
Motion is to be adopted, but first be re-referred to the Committee on Elections and Constitutional Amendments. Senators Caballero?
No.
Caballero, no. Sayarto?
Aye.
Sayarto, aye. Blakespear?
Aye.
Blakespear, aye. Dolly?
Aye.
Dolly, aye. Durazo?
No.
Durazo, no. Glazer? Skinner?
No.
Skinner, no. Wiener? No. Wiener, no. 3-4.
We will leave that open for the missing members. So we'll wait for Senator Glazer to return, or we'll check in with him to see what he's going to do, and then we will conclude. I want to thank the moderator for all your help here today. I appreciate your service.
Reconsideration.
My pleasure.
While we're waiting, we will lift the vote on file item number 1, which is SB 512. Please call the roll.
Motion is to pass to the Committee on Appropriations. Senators Dolly? Durazo? Aye. Durazo, aye. Glazer? Skinner?
Aye.
Skinner, aye. 6-0.
That bill is out 6-0. No problem.
Do you want to lift the SCA4? He's not coming back.
Oh, he's not coming back? Okay. So the information that I've received is that the absent senator is not coming back, so we will close the roll on file item number 2, SCA4.
3-4.
And the measure fails. 3 ayes, 3 noes, 4. And without objection, we will allow reconsideration. That concludes the hearing today of the Senate Committee on Governance and Finance. If you would like to provide more testimony to the committee in regards to either of the two bills today, please contact the committee through the web, and you can submit your concern or your testimony in writing, and it will be reflected as part of our hearing today. So thank you all very much. The committee is adjourned.